I feel like we make jokes on this podcast about you getting spooked by just the most random things. But in this case, it makes a little bit more sense because we actually played a very spooky game.
Yeah, I actually had an excuse to be spooked this time.
Yeah, it wasn't just a menu popping up or something else that was very random. That everyone's just like, what? Excuse me? What do you mean? But yes, we played a spooky game together, and Al was very spooked.
It was so spooky. My
I'm
goodness.
just like, hey, how's it going? Some spooky stuff happening here, ain't it? Meanwhile, I was just like, ah!
There was one point where I was hiding completely under my blanket. I couldn't see anything. And I was like, if there are any button prompts, we're screwed.
Oh, man. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Ow and Ladium.
Hello.
This is episode, what did I say, 264, that's what I said, of this very podcast. And we're going to talk about a spooky game that came out in the year 2020. I was almost going to say last year, but that's not true. It came out...
That's not true.
Like a year and a quarter ago, but in 2020... the Dark Pictures Anthology Little Hope, the second Dark Pictures Anthology game, which I guess we did not play the first one because allegedly there is a shark in this spooky ghost boat game, so that's automatically a no-go for us.
Nope, no sharkies for me.
So instead, we are going to dive into this one, which is more in line of just spooky small-town horror.
Featuring witches.
And the Salem Witch Trials.
Yeah.
Which, if you are unaware of what the Dark Pictures Anthology games are, they are the games that the developers of Until Dawn are making now, as they have like a deal with Bandai Namco to put these games out and everything. So this is their next big horror franchise that they're doing, and it's like a little anthology of games, of stories here and there. And I believe the one that's coming out this year is like the final game they're doing of like this first, I guess, season of games they're doing. So if you played Until Dawn, it's basically very similar in that vein, where it is there's a lot of narrative choice based gameplay. Choices determine whether or not people die in your crew or not, and it's spooky. Too spooky.
Too spooky for me.
And then the other big thing they added in these games in particular that wasn't like in Until Dawn was that they basically added multiplayer to these games, because a lot of people kind of came out of playing Until Dawn would be like, yeah, I would just play this with my friends and we would just pass the controller along and make choices that way. So they're like, oh, okay, we'll just add that in, which there's like a local co-op version of it, and also there's online co-op, which does an interesting thing where like you are playing the same game obviously, but you can go off into like different perspectives. So like I will be over here as this character doing something, and Al will be over here doing something else entirely as another character, and making choices and doing other stuff that I don't see at all.
And we had to talk between ourselves because there were some scenes that I didn't see that were actually plot relevant, and vice versa.
Yeah, which I think is an interesting idea. It's like to do for like a game like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, spooky game.
Except for when I was by myself, and then I'm like, I don't want to be by myself. I'm really scared.
Yeah, you were not doing well. Poor buddy.
Oh no.
So yeah, when did this game come out? October 30th, 2020. So the day before Halloween in 2020. So that's a good time to put the game out. I would
Makes
say
sense.
as much. Let's talk a little bit about the development of this here video game.
Okay.
Like I said, Little Hope is the second installment in the Dark Pictures Anthology series. Unlike Man of Medan, which was a modern-day story, Little Hope's story covers multiple timelines with a narrative jumping back and forth between the present and the past. The game features more supernatural elements when compared to its predecessor, and the team chose witchcraft as the game's main theme as they wanted to explore its root causes. Pete Samuels, the game's director, added that the team was intrigued by the greed, paranoia, and the fear of God, which motivated people to commit heinous acts during that period. The team took inspirations from both the Silent Hill series and The Crucible, which is a play about the Salem witch trials that took place in the Massachusetts Bay Colony during 1692 and in 1693, and could have happened in 1962 as well, knowing this country.
I mean, McCarthy era was
Yeah,
like in the 50s, right?
basically the same thing.
Yeah.
The game was also inspired by films including The Witch, The Blair Witch Project, Hellraiser, It Follows, The Omen, and Season of the Witch. That's a Nick Cage film, all right.
Nice.
Will Poulter was hired to voice and provide motion capture for Andrew, the game's lead character, which he is an actor.
Actor. Oh my God. Can you imagine if like the fourth game in this, if they were to make a fourth game, was just a Nicolas Cage fronted game?
I can already tell you that's not happening.
It should happen.
It should, though. Like its predecessor, the game was designed to be replayable. The team also refined the gameplay after hearing feedback from players who complained about Man of Medan's gameplay. For instance, the player character can now walk faster. In addition, the team lowered the difficulty of the game's QuickTime events, giving more time for the players to react, and it also removed the tank controls.
Wait, that was walking faster?
That was walking faster.
Oh my God.
The Dark Pictures Anthology was envisioned by Supermassive Games as a series of unrelated games which explores different themes and horror genres. The studio's plan was to release each installment every 6 months, though this target was missed, obviously, because COVID happened.
Yes.
The game was first released, or the anthology was first revealed, or this game was first revealed when Man of Medan launched in August 2019. The teaser trailer was included as a post-credit scene for the game, and then it was officially announced on April 14th, 2020, and was released on October 30th, 2020 for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Which this game does the same thing, where they give you a trailer for House of Ashes at the very end of the game.
Yep.
So you get to see Ashley Tisdale be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Ashley Tisdale.
You get to see her twice.
I'm in the Iraq War."
Yep.
That's something.
Yep. You know,
Maybe.
I guess High School Musical, you know, when she graduated, it just didn't go well for her.
She had to go to war.
Yeah,
maybe when that game gets cheap, we will play that and see what Ashley Tisdale's up to.
All right, I'll be probably very spooked still.
Very spooked, but then we'll be war heroes, clearly.
Yay.
So yeah, this is a interesting game. I knew a little bit about it because I'd seen like some people play it here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically kind of knew it had like the small town horror story type dealio, and it has like there was connections to the Salem witch trials and all that sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like there was like going back and forth between the 17th century and the present. So like I knew there was some of that elements, but I didn't know like a lot of like the story and like the twists and turns, and especially the main twist at the end.
Yeah, that was wild.
Something. There is a curator character that kind of tells you, I guess, all the stories.
He got a dump truck.
He's got a dump truck. It's basically the same character that they had in Until Dawn, but not played by Peter Stormare, which was a much better option in Until Dawn than I think here. But this guy's got a dump truck, so
This
who
dude,
knows?
you were joking that he obviously does squats in between having to talk to us because, like, he was just like, "Look at my butt; it's real big." And I was like, "All right,
I want to talk to you about Shakespeare,
let me talk to you about Shakespeare while you look at my big butt."
how I met him once.
Yep, he's a pretty cool guy.
He was a dude.
He sure was a fella.
Fella. So, yeah, this game, obviously, like I said, takes place in multiple timelines, and the very beginning of the game places you in the early 70s, where you're just like,
72?
yes, you are with this family, and it's like, oh, this family kind of sucks.
Yeah, they were awful. All of them were awful.
Yeah. And just like bad things are happening. There's this little girl, the little daughter is just like potentially possessed by something, and bad things happen.
Yeah, so all of the kids are adopted, and the parents are like, "Oh no, our youngest adopted child is a mess." And also, I looked at her report card, and yeah, she was not doing very well. But I mean, I guess if you're possessed by a demon, maybe you're not gonna pass gem. But yeah, as stepping on records being called Bigfoot, one being like coded racist
Yes.
when he was like, "Oh yeah, you know that new age guy," and it's like, "Oh, she has a black boyfriend."
Which I did not see that part, so you brought that up, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see that she had a black boyfriend, so
Yeah,
you
so you're
brought
just like,
that up.
You were like, oh, okay, that's a weird line, I guess.
Mm, like, oh boy, boy howdy.
Boy, howdy.
Um, but yeah, I went and lit a match to make some tea.
That was your first mistake.
It's true. It's true. And
Shouldn't have let that tea up.
I mean, what's his face? Anthony. Anthony
Mhm.
wanted some tea.
Big mistake.
I know. Good Lord, everything went to hell so fast, and I was just like, is this supposed to happen? Are we doing terrible things? Have we done something horribly wrong? Are we going to die and like fail at the very beginning of this game? What did we do?
I mean, yes and no were the answers to that. Because yes, we did fail and die and made everyone die except for one character. But then that's just kind of what happens.
Yeah, but even then, like he also like ran into a fire, so
It's a little rough.
a little rough. Um, yeah. I didn't expect that we had to brutally kill everyone in order to progress in the game.
Yeah,
Yikes.
a little bit of a yikes there.
Yeah, you think you're gonna make tea for your family, and then a small doll gets placed next to the burner, and
And the house is burned down.
your entire family's dead. Your older brother's impaled on a fence, and your older sister is either burned or hanged.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad
Dad
gets
gets crushed.
crushed. Your mom dies of smoke inhalation, and your sister is your
Burned
little
to death.
sister is burned to death. You're just sitting outside with a box of matches, and somebody's like, "Hey,
Did you set that fire, sir?
he's
You're
like,
oh no,
no,
I need to go into this fire.
running into the fire now. Goodbye." And I was like, "Oh my god," which we talked about it. Never, ever, 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 ever get a spiky fence.
It's true.
That's what happened in like the Virgin Suicides too. You never get a spiky fence. What?
Look, I would not have expected a Virgin Suicides reference in 2022. So
I mean, this is what happened.
you're not wrong.
You never get a spiky fence.
I wasn't.
Also,
That.
it's me.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So there you go. Never. If you're going out house shopping and it has a spiky fence, just turn around and walk away.
Turn around, walk away, or immediately have it removed, like the day before you move in. Even
No, just turn around, and walk away. Don't even risk it.
that's fair. That's fair. And I think it's just a big risk.
What if you're removing it and you trip and fall and you just impale yourself?
It's true. Pay somebody else to do it, but then they're gonna trip and fall and impale themselves and haunt you forever. So yeah, just turn around.
Just turn around, walk away.
Don't walk into the fire.
Yes,
So
also
yeah.
don't walk into a fire.
Yeah, that was an awful way to start a game. It was like
Yeah.
everybody died in horrible
good.
ways.
In the present, there's a bus driver taking some students. They get detoured and have to go into the town of Little Hope, and then the bus crashes.
Yeah, well, there's a little girl on the road.
Little girl shows up on the road and the bus crashes. And
Yep.
then all the students pop out of the bus and they're like, there's no bus driver here. Also, we need to find help because, oh God, the bus crashed.
Yeah. None of our phones are working.
It's all bad. So we have our main titular characters of Andrew, who has gotten concussion and doesn't remember anything.
He's an amnesiac.
Angela is the old lady student.
She's the returning student who is older.
Mm-hmm. Taylor is the young punky kid.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel's the jock with the spiked collar, pop collar, excuse me.
Ever since he can't remember, he's been popping his collar.
Thank you.
And they're kind of like maybe dating.
Yeah. And then John's the professor.
Also, they amazingly look so much like the people that you were just dealing with.
What a strange coinky-dink.
Very strange.
So they basically have to go into this town of Little Hope, or like try and find it and everything. Also, there's this weird fog that keeps like directing them into the town, and like if you go into the fog, it'll just warp you back out.
Yep.
Or back the way you were coming. So like you have to go in a specific direction at all times, and then just like weird spooky things are happening.
Yeah.
Very spooky.
It was very spooky.
Poor Al getting very spooked.
Oh my god, it was so spooky. And then like at one point you like left on a different path and I was like, no, I want to come with you. And I couldn't come with you and it was just upsetting.
So I basically was like, I would stick next to you at all times just to make sure you were okay.
Well, and then we like went to the little like side path where there was like the circle of stones and then the doll and then she like jumped out at us. I was like, oh ah.
I was like, oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah, like little demonic versions of these characters just like grab you and pull you into like 1692.
Yeah, so you could basically time travel to the witch trials that were happening in Little Hope as well, and along the way you start to see a lot of the doppelgangers that look like all of the characters there, and basically a lot of bad things happen to those doppelgangers where they get accused of being witches and just brutally murdered.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
Mm-mm.
No bueno. And the whole time you have to basically kind of figure out, okay, is this little kid that keeps popping up, are they the reason why the whole thing's happening, or is it something else entirely? What's exactly going on in this town, especially like back in the day? How are we going to prevent everything from happening? How are we going to escape this town and everything? It's a whole mess.
You run into this one guy in the bar.
Mm-hmm. Who just
And
seems like out of it, and like you're just very confused about what's happening with him.
Yeah. He's drinking.
He's drinking, but there's no one in the bar as well. It's just him by himself.
It's like a broken down bar.
Yeah.
It's kind of depressing, really.
Yeah.
A
A little bit.
little bit. A
So
little
just,
bit.
the whole time you're just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Spooky times.
So spooky. My goodness, is it spooky?
Too spoopy.
Too spooky.
And then things take a turn for the bad when like these weird demonic things start attacking everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
And
just like, whoa.
they're based off of the way that the doppelgangers died. So like we see pretty early on that Angela's doppelganger, Amy, I don't remember her name. She's accused of witchcraft by Mary and is like chained up and thrown into a river and drowns.
Yes.
And so like the creepy monster is just like this black oozy critter that's in chains and like crawling around and it's like ugh.
Comes out of the water and all that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you told me early you saw it and I was like,
I did.
oh. I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, so like there's little like collectibles that are scattered throughout the game that give you like premonitions of like, oh, here's something that could potentially happen later in the game. And one of them was like, oh, there's a weird chained up person coming out of the water.
Well,
Also,
you saw it also when
yeah,
you
there
were,
was also like a
talking-
cutscene of just like something's coming out of the water. That's weird. All right, gotta go.
and I didn't get that cutscene and it just looked like you were awkwardly standing with Andrew and I was like, what is happening right now?
Oh, we're just having a little chat.
You weren't even talking. You were just standing next to him.
We were telepathically chatting.
I see. So yeah, that thing's bad.
Real bad.
And it's coming after us.
And then you left me to die.
I didn't leave you to die. You lived.
I did live, but you were just like, I don't want to go in there. Okay, I guess I'm going in there.
I was scared.
You're like, I'm scared. I don't want to go.
I was scared.
You
I
were
picked up
very
your
scared.
glasses.
Yeah, thanks for getting those, but they were broke.
Yeah, I did my best. But I was scared.
You were very scared.
I didn't want to go in after that thing. It was going to get me.
There was we had to play this in two sessions.
Yep. We did.
Because at one point Al was like, yo, I don't think I can play this anymore.
I was so scared.
She was so spooked.
I didn't think I was gonna like actually sleep if we kept going. And like I was
Yeah.
so like wired up from it. I'm like, oh my God, I feel anxious. Like I bleh. So yeah, like we probably could have beat it in one session if I had not chickened out.
Which the second half of the game that we played through, you were much better.
Was I?
You were not as like spooked the entire time as you were the first time through. Like you still had moments of like you were getting scared, but like it wasn't as bad as the first time.
Wasn't hiding under the blanket.
No, you were. I mean, there was a lot of. I think we had like more just like actiony bits to do in the second half, so I think that kind of helped.
That makes sense.
So you're able to kind of like focus on different things than just being like, oh no, scared, 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 scared.
Yeah, I guess it is a bit story heavy in the front end of it, and then
And also, we didn't
back.
have like as much to do.
Yeah. I think that's probably a big part of it. But I definitely remember screaming a few times in the second part of us playing.
Blah,
Blah.
blah.
I mean, the thing is, you're used to me being scared, so like
Mm-hmm.
me screeching in your ear is not like the worst thing that could happen to you at this point. Like
No,
you know what's going on.
I'm aware
Um,
of the. I'm aware of what comes when you're playing a spooky game with Al,
easily scared gal.
or anything that could remotely spook Al, such as a
I
menu.
mean, you. I'm never gonna live that one down.
No, you're not.
Oh man. Yeah, I just get so easily scared, and this was spooky. But you didn't have to deal with like I wasn't screaming into a mic or anything, so it wasn't like concentrated screaming at you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there was a lot of screaming, and also, like I said, I completely hid beneath Josuke at one point and was just like listening to them talking and decided like, oh God, if we have a button prompt, I am so screwed.
We're dead.
Yeah, we're super dead because I was completely behind Josuke blanket. I was like, please protect me.
Cats are probably looking at you like, what are you doing?
Probably.
What is wrong with you?
Well, Maxwell knows, but
Maxwell's just used to it. Game Boy would be like, what is going on with her?
why does she keep screaming at the
Why
TV?
is she making so much noise and now hiding? What is happening over here?
To be fair, there are lots of jump scares
Mm-hmm.
with the little grabbies into the past moments,
Yes.
and I don't like that.
Because they go, ah!
They do. They just grab you into the past, like, "Wah," but they've got like creepy demonic faces when they do it.
Ah, I'm gonna eat you up. Ah.
They didn't have to have demonic faces. They could have just had normal faces. They didn't have demonic faces in 1692.
I mean, even if it was not a demonic face, you still would have been very scared.
You're not wrong. But the demonic faces didn't help.
True.
But yeah, so we keep seeing the witch trials go down and people dying in horrific ways.
Mm-hmm. And coming
So,
back to haunt us in the present.
yeah, so Angela has her weird chained up muddy monster friend. Um, actually, Taylor's is dependent on what you pick.
Oh, interesting.
I looked that up. So if you tell her to like go back inside, then she ends up burning to death in the first part, and so she gets burned at the stake.
Hmm.
Um, so she's like a burned at the stake thing tied to like a tree that
Right.
comes after you. But we picked, and by we I mean me, that you were going to go down the what's that called?
Yeah, the
It's not a storm drain. It's a gutter.
yeah, like a gutter that goes down the house.
Yeah, I was like, go down that, and
Nope, I slipped
nope.
and
Ended up getting hanged and breaking your neck. And
Yep.
so the witch version of her, witch in quotations, ends up getting hanged. And so her demon monster that comes after us is like a hanged lady with a noose that like attacks with her tongue.
Yeah, she just hangs out all the time.
She's just hanging. She's fine.
Yeah. Daniels is reminiscent to falling off of the house and getting impaled by a bunch of spiked fences because that's what happens to him in the past as well.
Yeah,
As
he
he falls
that,
and gets
he got
impaled by spikes again.
outside
So
of the church.
the demon version of him just has a bunch of like impaled spikes in him that he'll just come at you and just try and stab you.
Little pokey.
Go stabby stabby.
Um,
and
also, like, I don't think that's a really valid way to kill a witch is by like pushing them off of the church roof onto a spike.
Well, I think they weren't trying to aim for the spikes. I think they were just trying to splat them.
Oh, okay.
And the spikes were just an added bonus.
I still don't think that was like an approved method of getting rid of witches, but you know what?
No, but like,
There's a lot of going on in this town.
yeah, I don't think they were going by the book here.
They were not going by the Bible anyway.
No, there were some additions to the Bible that Reverend was holding.
Few additions.
Few
Man,
additions.
that Reverend was a butthole the whole time.
Yeah. And then John's that we see at the very end of the game is like he gets crushed in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So like his is just like some weird thing that just like crawls at you, but like the limbs are all just messed up. It's just like
I didn't like that. I did not like that. He was so, but not a fun gremlin. He was just.
I thought it was a fun gremlin.
I didn't like him. I didn't like the way he moved. It freaked me out. And
I
also
thought it was funny.
Didn't really have a whole lot to do with the fact that he like got
crushed.
I don't understand why like wobbly.
I mean, I guess
limbs.
it's because he's like low to the ground.
Oh.
That's the only reason I could think of.
And like his bones aren't in the proper places.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I didn't like him. He was freaky.
Yeah.
He was a weird little dude.
Weird little dude.
And we kept seeing like we saw a premonition of him getting his jaw just like snapped in half off of that thing. I was like, oh, we don't want that to happen.
No.
Also turns out it's important to make decisions in the proper way throughout the game.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Which that was like how Until Dawn was, where like you have to do the right choices and everything to make sure to get everyone alive at the end. It's just like, it's like a set predetermined thing of like, oh, do these specific things in order and you'll be potentially good. Because you still got to do like QTs and all that sort of stuff.
Because we were so close, except for that one time that I kept messing up that QTE, and then we realized that we weren't even doing it right anyway. So
yeah,
it was so much easier once we did it the proper way. So much easier. My button prompts were like a cakewalk then.
Yeah. So it is what it is. Yeah. So we lost one person just because like our dialogue choices weren't
proper.
But even then, like, only losing one person is not bad, considering how we thought we were going to do at the beginning of being like, oh, everyone's dead.
Yeah, everyone's dead.
Everyone's going to die.
Which I guess it is important to note that, like, we end the game in the burned out house.
Yeah, so everything kind of comes full circle.
Yes. Also, the guy from the bar keeps following us around and be like, yo, are you okay, dude? Like, what? Are you good? Can I help you out? We're like, no, leave us alone. You're in league with the monsters.
Potentially could have shot him if we had the gun.
That's horrific, and I didn't realize that was an option.
That's why we got rid of the gun.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only time that we had a weapon, the weapon came in handy, but having a gun is a terrible idea.
Yeah, like, you find a gun early on, and it's like, all right, do you want to keep this? And it's like, no! Get rid of this, because we had seen like a couple of premonitions that featured the gun. It's like, this seems kind of bad.
And all of the premonitions, someone was about to die.
Yeah, it's like I don't think this is good. I don't think this is good.
No, so you had Angela get rid of the gun.
Yep.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Very smart move.
Turns out.
Smart
move.
You kept the knife and was able to stab the little tonguey thing off Taylor at one point. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she died. Rip.
Yeah, ripperoni.
But yeah, you get to the burned out house and all of them are there.
Mm-hmm.
All of the creepy monsters are there.
Yeah. And then you go upstairs because like the little girl is there as well and leads you up there, and you go back to the past one more time, and that's where you can make your decision of like, do you blame the kid Mary as the progenitor of being the witch and everything, or do you go with the Reverend who's been basically doing this all on his own,
who is very clearly the bad guy?
Yes, very clearly.
Very clearly the bad guy. And like, obviously we picked, let's throw this Reverend under the bus because like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, don't use religion to murder people, but whatever.
And then it turned out,
Uh,
oh look at his Bible. Look at all these demonic things in his Bible.
oh no, the additions.
Oh no,
Who put
that's not
this
supposed to be there.
Who put this marginalia here? This isn't right. Who took notes in my Bible?
That's not mine.
I can't read. What are you talking about? But yeah, they're like, so what's all this? He's like, hmm. Yep. And then creepy child is like, thank you. I could not have survived this without you.
Like,
Because they all
oh, I
have
think.
stupid accents.
I like the first time you go back to the past, they're like, I don't even think they were speaking American.
Amazing.
Oh man.
But yeah, so we chose to not murder a child because that seems like a bad decision.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm still confused by the fact that there was like a demon hanging out with the Megan at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And like told her to set the fire, but then that's never addressed again.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it's never addressed again, or allegedly that's what happened.
Allegedly, it's a demon.
I mean, it had creepy fingers with
It
like
did, but
claws.
also, like, how do we know that's real or not?
I mean, we don't know, but why would they show it if it weren't important?
To make you think, oh, look at this spooky demon story.
Look at this creepy kid.
Look at this creepy kid.
I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of a like hokey thing to do. If like I would like leave it up to interpretation of like having her talk to herself
Right.
and then like put the doll down and leave the whole creepy demon standing next to her thing out. Because then when you have the whole like, oh, Mary that looks just like her is going through all this witch thing, you're gonna be like, well, is she actually like, was Megan actually under the same influence? What's happening here? Instead of it just being like, oh, there was a demon here. Ooh.
I think it's more aligned that, like, they want you to suspect the kid at first
Yeah.
and have that in your mind before you kind of begin to realize what actually is going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is confirmed that the doll is what set the house fire, which we knew, but
Right.
we found a newspaper that was like, oh, yes, Anthony was arrested initially, but he was let go because they realized that the doll set the fire and not him.
Mm-hmm.
And the paper said burn in hell.
Yep.
Yikes.
Very spooky. But yeah, you go back to the past, do all that, and then you're able to come back and like everything is kind of okay. Like this is like the part where like if you able to make everyone survive, they'll all leave, or if people die, they'll die here. If
Yeah,
they
so
haven't already died before.
everybody was walking out and then like a thing fell and Taylor was stuck behind and then like her little hang bodied monster tongue thing was like and, like, broke her neck.
Yep. And then we got sad and then we left.
Yeah, he got very sad.
After that, like Vince, the guy you keep seeing perusing around the town, shows up and is just like, hey, go to the diner, you'll be able to get help there, does the phone and everything. Also, don't ever come back here.
He also like tells him like that he doesn't blame him, right?
Yeah. So like you get everyone over to the diner, and that's where you get the big reveal.
Big reveal.
That old Andrew is actually the bus driver.
He was the bus driver the whole time.
And he's actually Anthony from the prologue.
Yep, he survived
the survivor
fire.
of the fire.
He just only had a burnt ear.
And then also everyone else didn't exist.
Yeah, none of those existed. They were all just figments of his imagination. Like you get to see some scenes of him just like calmly, casually walking through the town, and Vince is like, "Bruh, you all right? Like,
what is happening to you?
Can I help you?" Like, all these spooky things are happening in his head, but like none of that's actually there. He's just calmly walking through town, and Vince was his sister's boyfriend,
Hmm.
um, who is still very sad about that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he forgave us. But yeah, it's wild seeing like the scenes of him just like walking through the town, like it's all bright, everything's fine. It's like that's not what we experienced.
No.
But imagine like being Vince and seeing this guy and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah. Like, what's going
Yikes.
on here?
So like imagine if he just like tried to shoot at him or something. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that'd be real messed up.
He would be real messed up. But yeah, he's apparently just dealing with the trauma of the the family, and they even shows a flashback to the beginning with a cop, and the cop like looks in the bus is like, there's nobody in here. Okay.
Alrighty.
Keep going, buddy. I'm like, he should have done a breathalyzer on him because like something was obviously wrong.
Look, small town cop has more important things to do, like stand at that detour.
Yeah. Put people through this creepy town.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wonder if the town was actually like abandoned. I guess it was because like the mill thing, like the factory shut down.
The factory was shut down. Like that police station was abandoned that
Right.
I went to. You went to like a school and a grocery store that probably seemed abandoned.
They were.
So I
So
would
so
assume it's like something of that nature.
well, because a lot of small towns, like once the factory or the mill or whatever was there shuts down, like the town basically dies.
The town just
So
goes with it. Yeah.
yeah, so that might have been what happened there. And like Vince is just like a lingerer there that he just can't let it go.
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, didn't didn't know that we were just casually walking through a town. Didn't feel like we were casually walking through a town.
Maybe it was very
Nobody
casual.
nobody was real. Um, kind of weird that he like imagined his adopted sister and his adopted brother like kind of dating. But you know, whatevs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they did like a Greg and Marsha Brady type thing. Guess they were step and not like adopted, but whatever. Same thing, you know. Um, it was spooky.
Too spoopy.
Too
Too for
spooky.
Al.
And then I was looking at like what are the alternate endings, and none of them are good.
Yeah.
Like you can commit suicide from the guilt,
Get arrested.
get arrested. Vince calls the cops on you.
Just
Which I
continue to be
mean,
sad.
to be fair, I mean we were sad in the end, but we kind of like I guess we forgave ourselves because Vince forgave us.
I guess.
But, yeah, I guess if you're like doing stuff like shooting at Vince and stuff, yeah, you probably should get the cops called on you.
It's fair.
It's legit. That's totally fair. But yeah, this entire thing was him just trying to cope and
A
me
real
being
wild
scared.
way to figure out how to cope. And also, yes, you were very scared.
So scared. So I've been trying to figure out a few things. Like apparently you can like straight up murder Mary at one point, which yikes.
Right.
But like I've already mentioned I had issues with like the demon at the beginning. That was weird that they just put that in and didn't address it. Um but also like he is a bus driver because he's got the bus driver uniform
In a bus.
and a bus. But like does he just normally casually drive his bus around with nobody in it, or like was he on a route and then once the guy said Little Hope he's like, oh right, I have these people I gotta take? Like where did the break there happen?
Well, like when they show that flashback at the very end, and the police officer mentions Little Hope, you can see like he has like this like kind of moment.
Yeah, I
So
remember
I wonder
that.
if like that's the break, or if like there was just a break already there or whatnot. But it could possibly just be like he mentions Little Hope and having to go there, and his everything just like crumbles for him.
Yeah, because he was just going straight and wasn't going to have to go by there, and was like maybe going to a route to pick up somebody or something.
Potentially.
And I was just like, what is the thing that got us here?
Yeah. Who knows? Ghost got us here.
Ghosts, spoopy ghosts that kept grabbing at us and yelling. It freaked me out. I didn't like it. It was scary. At least it was tempered by me laughing about the dump truck in the middle of the curator popping up.
True.
It was pretty funny.
Good things to have.
Yes. Laughs and dump trucks. And then we got to see Ashley Tisdale in the burnt out house.
Yep, which was weird. I was like, wait a minute. This is from the next game.
Yeah,
this doesn't have anything to do with this.
What is this? Oh, that's Ashley Tisdale.
Get a little tease.
Yep. So eventually we'll play that one, and I'll probably be super scared again. But
and
not now.
And then we'll see whatever the fourth game is going to be about. The Devil in Me.
Nicolas Cage.
It features an automated mannequin created from human body parts.
Oh, what?
That's apparently what it says. That's what the trailer shows at the end of that game.
What?
So there's that. Things to look forward to.
Yay.
In the future.
You get to look forward to me screaming more.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe it won't be as spooky next time.
I mean, it's probably going to still be spooky. I don't doubt that you will not be as spooked.
I will probably be super spooked still.
I
it's just who I am as a person.
It's true. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for us.
Yeah. We got sufficiently spooked. You didn't get spooked. You were fine the whole time. But I got sufficiently spooked.
I was very sufficiently spooked. Too spoopy. Well, if you would like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, A Critical Analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a wealth of bonus content as well. Next week, we'll do something, maybe some catch-up like we said last week, about some stuff we played in the interim. Or it'll be something else entirely again. Who knows?
Also,
what?
Not this week, obviously, when we're recording.
Yep, so it doesn't count. We got to talk about it next week.
No, your birthday. Your birthday is gonna be like in the middle of our recording stuffs or release dates. So anyway,
True.
Jared was born. Yay!
Forthcoming born.
Forthcoming born. Yay!
Yay!
Happy birthday!
Thank you, my
Yay.
friend.
Yay! Everybody say happy birthday, Jared.
It's true. Or else.
Or else I'll fight him.
That's right. You don't want a tiny, scared girl to come fight you.
No, you don't.